girls, welcome to today's United Kingdom Talk.
From the Mirrorball studio in Royal Berkshire, this is Chris Reardon.
Welcome along. I've done my hair a bit different today. I've actually found some, I think it's hair clay, and it was in my cupboard. It's been there for about a year and a half, so I thought I'd try a bit of that today. And it makes the front of it all kind of stick up, like spiky, because when I was in my early 30s, I had spiky hair, and I've done that today. But unfortunately, it makes the bald bit at the back look even worse than it is, I think. So I might not be doing that again. I should have to be extra careful today not to bend my head too far forward and reveal the shining bit on the top. Incidentally, talking of different haircuts, I did send Ivona, our friend in Slovakia, regular listener to the programme. How are you, Ivona? She listens, and she didn't have a photo, so I sent her a little photo via text message on the marvellous thing that is photo messaging. So I hope you got that, Ivona. All right, my darling, just my little beaming face for you. I think, which photo did I send you? I think I'm on a bike. Am I on a push bike or sitting in an office somewhere? A little studio somewhere? I can't remember which I sent you. So I hope you got that all right. Welcome along, boys and girls. It's United Kingdom Talk with myself, Chris Reardon. There is an email address. If you ever want to join in, please feel free to do so. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, first of all today, are you ready? Are you ready? Bless me, Suko, for I have sinned. Oh, yes. It's time for my list of bad things, Suko, that I have been eating. Now, Suko, if you follow the programme regular, you will know that one of my New Year's Eve resolutions was that I must not visit fast food restaurants. And I kind of unmentioned attachments to that same sort of thing. Are you ready, Suko? I'm afraid it's not been a very good few days. Bless me, Suko, for I have sinned with 3 bags of cheese and onion crisps. This is since the last show, okay? 3 bags of cheese and onion crisps. That's not 6, that's 3 altogether. Sorry, I was repeating myself. However, 2 of those bags were baked crisps. Now, I don't know if you've yet got those in the States. We have, of course, fried crisps, which are crisps, or I think you call them potato chips, don't you? Fried, as usual. But now, here in the UK, we have Walker's baked crisps. Now, one of the bags of crisps was a normal bag of crisps, and the other 2 bags of crisps were baked crisps. I don't know if that's going to make any difference, Suko, to my sins. Of course, my absolution is in your hands, my love. It really is. Absolution is in Suko's hands. Bless me, Suko, for I have sinned. I have also had a 250-gram bar of chocolate. Just a minute, but I didn't buy it myself. Someone else bought it. Does that make a difference? Do you remember a couple of shows ago I said I'd had a 1-kilogram bar of chocolate? Well, that was completely wrong. I'm sorry. That was an error. Big red cross appears behind me on the screen, like in the TV programme Family Fortunes. When you make a mistake, we get a and a red cross. Okay, so that was a red cross. It wasn't actually a 1-kilogram bar of chocolate at all, my dear. It was a 250-gram bar. Okay? However, this week also, Suko, I have had, as I say, a 250-gram bar of chocolate. One of the big ones. Not only that was presented to me, but also, if I may refer to my notes, sir, madam, sorry, also a Cadbury's cream egg was purchased by that same person. Do you think he likes me? Is that what it's all about here? I don't know. Not only that, Suko, bless me, Suko, for I have sinned, but I have had an entire box within the space of 10 minutes of Cadbury's chocolate fingers. It's all over, isn't it? It's all over. How am I supposed to keep my present levels of fitness when one has so many... I don't know what's happened. I have become totally addicted to chocolate recently. Now and again, when I'm or out somewhere, in somewhere, I start asking around, excuse me, are there any chocolate dealers in here? And it's usually an old woman dressed as a nun sitting in a corner somewhere. It's true. A lot of people think these chocolate dealers are hanging around clubs with great big gold chains and things like that and posh cars outside. It's not true. I always seek out the chocolate dealer. You find them on all street corners. The authorities have tried to do something about them, but they can't do it. Can you believe, Suko, here in the UK, now this may surprise you, my darling, here in the UK, we actually have supermarkets and little places known as news agents. And each of these places has their own chocolate dealers inside. It's shocking. I mean, it's just no hope for this country at all. Chocolate dealers all over the place, and they cannot clamp down. They get even secret cameras, and God knows we're watched by everyone in this blooming country. Even secret cameras all over the world, all over the UK rather, cannot seem to be able to catch one single secret chocolate dealer. And it's all becoming a bit of a worry, really. It's so easy to buy. No doubt soon, programmes like Panorama and Watchdog and Crime Watch UK will be devoting entire programmes to secret chocolate dealers. And of course, it's affecting people like me. I am now a chocolate addict. Do we have any other chocolate addicts watching or listening today, I wonder? If so, please let me know. What is your favourite chocolate bar? The email address to the programme is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, as with all these dangerous substances, there are various ways of receiving the pleasure. My personal way is to break a piece off, place it gently on my tongue, close my mouth, and simply let it melt. Oh, it's just too much. Very dangerous when you're driving a car. Very, very dangerous to be eating chocolate while driving a car. So much pleasure in one tiny square chunk. But let's face it, boys and girls, how much easier on those nights when you're sitting home alone with no one to share your life, how much easier is it to go out and purchase a small, medium, or indeed large bar of dairy milk chocolate? How much easier to do that than go to a bar and try and chat someone up? So much pleasure for such little money. So there we are, Suko. Sorry, I got quite carried away then because I'm worried. I'm worried that the chocolate dealers here in the UK are taking over. They really are. And not a single one of them has been brought to task. It's all very worrying, dear. Very worrying indeed. What is your favourite chocolate bar, boys and girls? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You know mine. Cadbury's Dairy Milk. All right, so there we are, Pete, Suko. I have sinned many times this week. But the only thing I bought myself was... Oh, I have another addition. I also purchased myself with my own money, and this is the one that's going to tip the balance, isn't it, Suko? This is the one that's going to make me say the most penance. An extra 200 Hail Marys for buying myself with my own money a very small bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate on the way to Bingay on Monday night a couple of days ago. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. I've become an addict. So there we are, Suko. You see, I confess to you, the great Suko, Queen of all of New York. And I hope that you can find suitable penance for my many sins of eating so many bad things. Thank you, Suko. I will await your absolution, my dear. I will await your absolution. Now, what else we got to talk about today? Oh, yes, spring has indeed come, as I mentioned a few weeks ago. And guess what I did this afternoon for the first time? Well, not the first time this year. I think I've done it once this year so far. I have cut my grass. And isn't it lovely, eh? Isn't it lovely when you cut that grass for the first time in spring and that smell hits you, doesn't it? That smell of freshly cut grass, oh, it's lovely. And, of course, unfortunately, sometimes where the borders are, you know, you go a little bit too far into the borders and then you say, what's that smell? And it's not the hairdryer. I was going to say the hairdryer then. And the grass mower and the lawn mower accidentally chews up a little bit of cat dirt. And that really is not pleasant, is it? I mean, it completely ruins the lovely smell of the grass. So I've been doing that today. I've also been looking at the hedge, because the hedge around my garden is very overgrown and spiky and everything at the moment, so that needs a little bit of a cut. Whether or not I'm able to do it before I go to my sister's or not, I do hope so. But I shall try. Now, while I'm at my sister's for a few days, do not worry, because I shall record 2 shows in advance, because I don't want to deprive you. I don't want to deprive you of my little smiling happy face. We all need to smile sometimes, darlings, all right? We all need to smile. Who else has been cutting their grass? Anyone in the UK? Have you had time? We've had it all this week, dear. We've had snow, we've had sunshine, it's been nice, it's been cold. You can't win. All with the weather in the space of a day or so. I mean, the other day I did tell you, I think I drove home very early one Sunday morning after I'd been out all night. Well, not all night, you know, but I came home about 8:30 in the morning. And as I left a particular place, it was pouring with snow outside, which, I mean, looks very pretty, but I hate the stuff. And then I went to bed at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I got up again at 6 o'clock at 5:30 at night, and the sun was still shining. And you would never have known it had snowed, and it was quite thick earlier on. Beautiful, isn't it, snow? Beautiful. Now, what else we got today? Oh, yes, Kate, our friend Katie. Katie, my little cat, I've been filming her this week. In fact, I've been filming a lot of little things with my old video camera. Now, unfortunately, I spent quite a lot of time with this old camera, which, you know, I still use. It's about 8 or 9 years old now. And I've put lots of little pictures and bits and pieces together, which you will see at the end of this little video, if you're watching on YouTube. Basically, little bits of where I live. And I've kind of put it all together with a bit of music, and that will be played at the end of the show now. So I hope you like that. And it took quite a long time, but the quality isn't all that. The picture's a bit jumpy. I'm not really set up to do video stuff, which is why I'm not going to go along the route of buying a new computer. I was going to, wasn't I? I was going to buy a new computer and a new video camera so I could make it work all the better. But as I said before, the video thing of this is secondary to me. Just kind of a little addition, so I'm not going to do that. But I do hope you like the new closing sequence at the end of the show. All right, I do hope you like that. And also, there should have been a beginning sequence. Excuse me. Oh, here we go again. Oh, I sound like Tarzan. Oh, do you think I'd make a good Tarzan? Do you? Swinging through the forest in a little loincloth. Oh, someone's been sick now, haven't they? Oh, please don't let me put you off. Anyway, I do hope you like the opening sequence and the closing sequence. And something I hope will amuse you right at the very end, before the Union Jack animated logo comes up. I've done something at the end which you'll see in a few of the future programmes as well that are coming up. It's the same thing, but today is the first time you'll see that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I hope it makes you smile and gives you a little chuckle. All right? Yes. All right, now let's talk about... Oh, and by the way, the 2 cats appear at the end as well, Tiny and Casey. Okay? Now, I did promise you I would tell you a couple of stories from one of the BA airline hostesses that I keep bumping into in the sports centre that I go to, just up the road there. And she's ever so nice. She's a lovely, lovely person. And she'll give me a couple of stories for the show this week. I think I possibly might have told you the first one, or I think I'm not sure if I was holding it back or whether we actually got around to it or not, to be honest. But this lady, who has to, of course, remain nameless, I was talking to her about food and drink on the planes. She said, "Oh, don't talk to me about that. Drink." I said, "Why is that then?" She said, "Oh, no." She said, "We do have our own ways sometimes of getting back at people." I said, "What do you mean?" You know, because I'm sure you have been, if you've ever been on a plane before flying, you will know that some people, some customers like to just get on the plane, they like to be nice and quiet, they like to settle down and just get on with the flight. Other people are demanding this all the time. And I mean, I've even seen it when I was lucky enough to fly in business class to Australia. I kind of sat down and the staff on BA on those 2 times I flew like that were absolutely out of this world. They couldn't have treated me better. This is the BA staff in business. And I was quite happy to, oh, please could I do this, or please could I do that? Yeah, that's no problem at all. Or can I have this, or can I have that? And, you know, I'm not a lazy person. If I wanted something, I'd get up, out of the chair, walk down the back and say, "Oh, could I do this, or could I do that?" "Oh, yes, help yourself," you know, because they have, in business class, they have this little tray of food out the back, and you just go and help yourself right the way throughout the flight. It was fantastic. Only crisps and sandwiches, but nevertheless, you know, they are there if you want them. Now, the lady was telling me that she was recently on a flight, and someone in economy, he was like that all the way through. Want this, want that all the time, and he was starting to get on their nerves. And he came up to her and he said to her, "Excuse me, what is the choice of wine?" And she said to him in a funny way, "Well, the choice in economy, remember, economy, dear, economy." She said to him, "Well, the choice is you either drink it or you don't." And he wasn't too pleased about that. And I said, is that true? You really said that?" She said, "Yes, he was getting on my nerves. Kept shouting out, one in this every 5 minutes, one in this, one in that every 5 minutes, getting on my nerves." I said, "Today I only had the one wine." She said, "Well, actually, on this particular flight, there was a choice of 2 wines. There was the cheap stuff and there was the expensive stuff." But she told, this is why I can't mention her name. She told me the reason she said that was because, yes, there was some better wine left over, but at the end of flights, staff, apparently, according to her, are allowed to buy at a very reduced rate anything that's left over. So she had kept the good stuff back for herself and only offered him the rubbish. Isn't that awful? Well, maybe he should have been a bit more polite to the staff, that's all I can say. What a cheek, innit? Of course, I don't drink at all. So I suppose I'm a fairly, even in the business class, I suppose I'm a fairly cheap customer, aren't I, to keep? All I tend to drink is tea and bottles of orange juice. That's all I ever have. Maybe a bit of water and what have you. But I do quite like. I mean, if you can ever save up for business class, and I think on Virgin it's called. Is it upper class on Virgin, or indeed any of the airlines? You know, you don't have to go first class, but it's kind of the next one up from economy, or the next 2 up. Oh yeah, because Virgin, they have economy, they have premium economy, then they have, I think, upper class, and then they have first class. If you can get to the one below the first class, it is much more expensive than economy. Like, let's see, certainly on British Airways, it's about 5 times the price of an economy ticket going to Australia. But on the other hand, the first class is just beyond any normal person's reach. I mean, that's very expensive. If you ever can afford to go the next one up and you've got a very long flight, it is worth doing. All right? So that's one story. The other story, and you'll love this one, she was on a flight going to somewhere, all right? Quite a long flight. By the time she got there, she was absolutely bursting to go to the toilet. She managed to make it from the plane through the airport to a minicab thing, a taxi type thing. which drove her very quickly to the hotel. She ran into the hotel, and they're all pre-booked. You know, the company obviously, BA pays for them to stay in these rather nice hotels. All part of the job. I mean, and so they should really. The airline hostess, they're not on that good money, are they? As I'm sure most of them will tell you. So perks of the job, like nice hotels and that sort of thing, it all kind of makes up for it, doesn't it? Presumably they get their food on board and everything like that. So that makes up for the less money. And of course, seeing the world. Would I like to do it? I don't know if I'd like to do it. A job like being an airline host or something, or as the gay boys are known on those, they are called trolley dollies. Okay, trolley dollies. That's what the boys are known on these flights. All right. Of course, they're not all. I mean, they're all different types of people on there. I don't think I'd like to be a trolley dolly or anything like that. I wouldn't like the responsibility of the safety aspect of it. It would worry me if something went wrong. The responsibility of getting everyone off. I don't know if I'd remain calm or not. It's difficult to know in a situation like that, isn't it? I think sometimes you do have to be... Perhaps, is there anyone listening or watching at the moment who has been in a situation, and now that that situation has passed, realise they acted in completely the wrong way about the situation? Anyone? I'll give you an example of this. Years ago, when I was married, we were living in Battersea in London, and my wife at the time, she left a chip pan on accidentally. You know, one of those things. Well, I think it was accidental. You don't know, do you, dear? No, she left one on accidentally, and I just happened to be walking past the kitchen, and I looked in. And I says, oh, there's smoke coming out of that pan. And at that moment, the whole thing just burst into flames. And oh my God, now I know, as well as most people listening to this, I know that you do not put water on a chip pan fire. And yet, in that moment of blind panic, and I did panic, in that moment of blind panic, I grabbed the nearest jug, filled it with water. I stood back, fortunately, and chucked it on the chip pan fire. Of course, the whole thing, whoosh, up it went. My wife at the time, she came and she says, "What did you do that for?" You know, screaming. Well, she wasn't screaming. I don't know if she was screaming. She calmly walked over to the sink, which was right next to the cooker, actually. Walked over to the sink, and she got a towel or a tea towel, I think it was, put it under the tap, wrung it out, quickly put it over the fan, and very quickly it went out, fortunately. But you see, I was not able to cope with that situation. Everyone knows, including myself, you do not put water on a chip pan fire. Worst thing you could do. And yet that's exactly what I did in the panic of the situation. Has anyone else done anything like that at all? In situations where you know what to do and you do something completely different? What was that situation for you? Do let me know on the email, okay? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Anyway, back to my friend, the BA airline hostess. So she's now travelling to the hotel. She's got to the hotel, run into the hotel. "Oh, quick, can I have my keys? Quick, I'm staying here. BA, whatever." Gave her the information that she has to give. And so this woman, I think this was in America somewhere. I think New York or somewhere like that. So she said, "There you are, darling." You know, the accent. I can't do very good accents. So she's given her the keys, and my friend, she's run up the stairs, put the keys in the door. She's wedged the door open with her suitcase, ran into the toilet, hasn't put the lights on, okay, sat on the toilet and done what she had to do. While she was sitting on the toilet, she reached over and turned the light on. And the light came on, and she's looking around in this bathroom in the hotel. as you do when you're in a hotel. It's nice to be in a nice hotel, isn't it? And she thought, that's a bit strange, looking around. Why have they got Adidas toiletries? Just looking around. There's like a set of clothes hanging over the bath as well. And then it dawned on her. And as she came out of the bathroom, she turned the light on in the room. And there, in bed, there's a little Chinese man pulling the covers up to his face like that, with just his eyes showing over, saying, "Get out, get out, get out! Leave me alone, get out, get out!" And what had happened, of course, is she'd been given the wrong keys. And she's saying, "Oh, it's okay, I'm staff, I'm BA, please don't worry, please don't worry. Get out, get out, get out, get out!" Can you just imagine that happening? I mean, not only that, she'd used the toilet in someone else. I don't know about you, but I find it very, very difficult to use a toilet in someone else's house. Not so much standing up, but certainly sitting down. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to go any further than that, do we? Well, she'd gone in and used his toilet and come out, and this poor man was in the bed. "Get out, get out!" So she went downstairs to complain, of course. And there's this woman down there, and she was really blasé about the whole thing. She said, she says, "You've given me the wrong keys." "Oh, don't worry, mate. We'll sort it out for you." And all this business. No one was really bothered about the whole incident at all. But I just thought I'd share that one with you because I think that's very funny. And the things that staff get up to. How about you? Do we have any airline people watching? And have got any other stories like that, perhaps? Or indeed anything, any stories like that at all. I'd love to hear them and read them out because this programme is all about sharing stories, as you know. The email address, of course, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I remember getting caught once myself. The worst incident was, now this was going back 11 or 12 years, just after I had my burst appendix and I'd returned to work, and I was driving to a place in central London. I was working on a Thursday night. I always remember this, Thursday night, central London. And I was sitting there stuck in traffic. Now, I don't know if any of you have had any problems with appendix, but kind of it gives you a few problems down there after the operation, all right? And I'm sitting there in this really heavy traffic, and suddenly I wanted to go to the toilet. Now, this is 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the centre of London. I'm trying desperately to get through this traffic, and it wasn't happening, was it? It was solid as anything. And in the end, I got as far as Piccadilly. If you know Piccadilly, I got as far as Piccadilly coming up from Knightsbridge, so that side. I went round the one-way system, and then I turned, like, you get so far, and then you have to turn sharp right, because you can't go into Leicester, I think it's Leicester Square, so you can't go into Leicester Square, so I had to turn sharp right, and there I spotted a McDonald's. Now, at that time, 5 o'clock, traffic wardens are like locusts, or at least they used to be then. I don't suppose they need so many now, they've got the cameras and what have you, but they are like locusts at that time. And I had no choice, and I thought, there's nothing you can do. You have got to get to a toilet now. And I parked the car on a bus stop on double red lines, and I ran into McDonald's toilet. I ran in there. And you know, the trouble is with McDonald's, there's only ever one, isn't there? I thought, oh my God, you know, how long am I going to... If I'm going to have to wait, then I'm finished. I am finished. And I ran in there, ran up the stairs 2 at a time, and there was no one in there, fortunately. And that was it. I was in there a few minutes, and I thought, well, I know I'm going to come out of here, and there's either going to be a traffic warden putting a parking ticket on the car, or there's going to be, one of those clamping lorries clamping the wheel, or even worse than that, there's going to be a tow-away truck, and my car's going to be lifted and towed away, because I was in that McDonald's about 4 or 5 minutes. Do you know what? I came back out of there completely relieved, fortunately. I came out of there and the car was there and no one had gone near it. How lucky was that? So there's my stories. Come on, you must have some stories like that. I want to know them. I do my best to make you smile, so come on, make me smile with your stories. They don't all have to be toilet stories. Disaster stories, that's what we like here on the show. Let me know, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, this week I have... Oh, by the way, do you remember we were talking about Stacey, my nephew's girlfriend, and her feet email a few shows ago? Did you miss that? Well, you should have been watching or listening, shouldn't you? You've got to listen to the whole thing. I've told you before. Go back and you'll see the feet story on the summary. The main United Kingdom Talk website is at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You can go back as far as you want to all of the shows on there, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Well, I can't remember if I showed you this little picture that they sent in, all right, of my nephew there. There's my nephew, Gary. He's the older one, and that's his girlfriend, Stacey. And if you were listening to the show, you will know they both got, I think they were loans from the Prince's Trust to start off their own businesses. And Stacey wants to do reflexology. She sent in this email about how she likes feet and the smell of them and all that. It's all very bizarre, dear. I mean, when I go up there next week, I hope she's not going to start interfering with my feet. I shall be rather annoyed. I'm not having people touching my feet like that and doing things to them. It's a liberty, that's what it is. A liberty. But I didn't realise she'd sent me this little picture that she's been in the newspaper with my nephew. Can you see the picture there? They're both in this picture that's been in the newspaper. And in the picture, it clearly shows her interfering with someone's feet. And quite honestly, I don't know whose feet they are. Because it's not my nephew's. My nephew is sitting next to her in the picture. And I don't know, what is he holding? He's holding some bizarre-looking blue objects thing. And she has got hold of someone's feet. And I want to know whose feet they are. I've got to find out. 1 minute. Let me just ring my sister and see if she knows. We like all the information, you see. Won't be a second. Who's that? Oh, it's Jimbo. Here, Jimmy, do you know... when Gary and Stacey were in... the newspaper a few weeks ago, right? Stacey is holding someone's feet in the picture. Do you know whose feet they are? Are they Nan's feet? Oh, it gets even worse. Thank you, Jimmy. I'll ring you later. Bye. Oh, dear. Oh, it's my nephew's Nan's feet. Oh, it gets worse and worse, doesn't it? Hang on, let me have... Oh, I can see now. I got a knot in my neck then. Did you see that? It's her Nan's feet. That's my sister's husband's mother, who lives in the same house. Oh, I bet I should have noticed all the bunions and things like that. Oh, it gets worse, doesn't it? Oh, any stories like that, let me know. Now, I have won something. How exciting am I? Now, it's an interesting story. Do you remember... about 6 weeks, 2 months ago, I said that I'd bought some raffle tickets... Again, for nothing, no connection with my nephew and his girlfriend there, but someone was selling raffle tickets in aid of the Prince's Trust, and I bought £20 worth of tickets. Now, the reason I bought £20 worth of tickets was because I was too lazy to go around and start selling to people individually, and it was getting quite close to the ticket draw, which was on the 13th of March, so, over a good month ago now. And these tickets, as I say, it was a raffle to aid money for the Prince's Trust. So rather than go around and sell them all, I just bought the whole lot myself. It was £20 and sent in £20 cash to the organisation. And I didn't think anything more of it. Now, I know the guy who sent me the tickets. And I said, most important, I want to win one of the prizes. The prizes on here. Oh, what were the prizes? Let's have a look. 2-night stay for 2 people at the Hilton Puckrup Hotel. I've no idea where that is. A £200 River Island voucher. That's a clothing store here in the UK. A bottle of Commons whiskey signed by the Prime Minister. No, thank you, dear. There are far more important people than Gordon Brown, dear. Far more important people, and numerous other prizes. So I think we had a list of the numerous other prizes, and one of those was a £25 voucher for Pizza Hut. So in the ensuing days, I kept ringing up my mate and said, has the draw happened yet? Has the draw happened yet? And he says, you know it hasn't happened yet. It happens on the 13th of March. I said, I must have those Pizza Hut vouchers. I'm desperate. He said, don't you want the £200 voucher? I said, I'm not interested in any clothing voucher, dear. I haven't got time to traipse around stores looking at boring things like clothes. You know me. I mean, if it's gadgets, then I'm interested. I want the £25 Pizza Hut voucher. I think, quite honestly, it was actually Richard in Birmingham who's gone around selling these tickets in aid of the charity. And he was laughing. Excuse me. And he was laughing. He says, oh, you know, he thought it was quite funny. Well, guess what? A letter arrived. A letter arrived. Look, not only a letter, but a registered letter, a recorded delivery letter. I know, here at the Mirrorball Studios, we don't get many of those, dear. We don't get many recorded delivery letters. These are ones that you have to sign for and all that. And I already know what's in here, because Richard has told me, you won't believe this. And here it is. Oh, there's something else in there. Here it is. And I can't believe it. And I can hear people all over the world now who are watching this shouting out fix. And it says, Dear Chris, thank you for supporting our raffle in aid of the Prince's Trust. I am delighted to be able to inform you that you have won a prize. Look, you have won a prize. You have won £25 Pizza Hut vouchers. I've enclosed them for you and trust you will have a very enjoyable time. Kind regards from Richard and the organisation that were running the raffle. And I think that's fair enough, because if they're doing good, they get a mention. Hamptons International. Hamptons International, and they are an estate agent in Hampstead. I mean, I couldn't afford a place in Hampstead, dear. That's what they are. At Hamptons International in Hampstead. Well done. Good on you for running such a charity event. Okay? And here they are. Look, my Pizza Hut vouchers for £25. How fantastic is that? 10. Oh, hang on. 10. Oh, hang on. Is it 25? It's only 20. Oh, no, it's all right. There's 3 fivers. Oh, thank God for that. I thought I'd been done there. Oh, there we are. 1 tenner and 3 fives. £25 Pizza Hut voucher. Fantastic. I cannot believe that will never happen again, will it? I cannot believe I have won these, and that's the exact prize I wanted. Well, let's see. Must use by the 31st of December this year, and indeed that will happen. But I'm so pleased I've won these, and what I've decided to do is actually take my mate out, Richard, who I think had something to do with running the whole competition, and that's the person I will take to have the Pizza Hut with. I'll probably take a little camera and do some pictures and things like that. So nice one. Very rarely do I win a raffle or anything like that. My mum, she used to win... where's my bit of papers? Oh, where's my things gone? There we are. My mum, she used to enter raffles all the time. She would always be winning something. She'd always be winning prizes, Mum, because she would keep sending in competitions, either stuff cut out of magazines or newspapers, anything like that. She would always win. And apparently, I find out from certain people who run competitions and things, you'd be surprised at how few people actually enter competitions and things like that. There are a few, but nowhere near as many as you would think. In fact, some people, they make probably not a living, but they spend an awful lot of time trawling through newspapers and magazines week in, week out, entering all these competitions, and they win an awful lot of stuff, which is great. So I mean, I don't know. It's the first time I've won a raffle prize like that, though. £25 pizza Hut voucher. Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, it's not the money. It's the fact that you've won something. It's a bit like our bingo on a Monday night. We don't have great big, huge prizes. There's no television. Well, now and again we have a little television set. But it's more of the thing of, I've won something. Doesn't it make you feel good? Even our cheaper prizes... Because depending how far up you win, 1 line, 2 lines of a full house, depending how far up the scale you go, the prize gets better. Now, the lowest prizes, all they are is like boxes of chocolates, the bingo mug. Have you ever seen a bingo? I've never shown you a bingo mug, have you? I don't think I've got one here, have I? I'll have to bring one in on the next show and show you. A little mug or maybe a CD or a DVD. Only small prizes, but it doesn't matter because you've won something. And I often don't think it's not so much about the size of the prize, the fact that you've won something, it's the fun in taking part, the excitement. I mean, the excitement I got receiving this letter, you have won a prize. And that's fantastic. Have you ever won anything? Have you won anything small or anything large? I do hope those of you with children and that do support your schools wherever they are in the world when they have these sort of events to raise money for schools, because schools and places like that, hospitals, whatever, organisations, let me think, Cancer Trust, RSPCA, looking after animals, the children's trusts and people like that, they always need more money, don't they, to do out their good things. So it's always a good thing to support raffles and things like that. But have you ever won anything? Anything at all? Let me know. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, if you've ever won a very large cash sum, and you don't want anyone to know it's you that won it, but you'd like to tell me about it anyway, please put that in your email. All right? Now, there is also a postal address as well. If you ever want to join in by post, then you can do so. I'm going to give you the postal address in a moment or two, all right? But what have you won before? What have you won? Let me know. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. The postal address is Chris Reardon, I can do this by memory now. Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG 429ED. Once again, Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG 429ED. And as always, if you're outside the UK, please put United Kingdom at the bottom, all right? It's funny as you're sitting there chatting away sometimes. I've just remembered, things just drop into your head. I must go and get my car service. It's now due for a 60,000 mile service. That's not bad in 2 years, is it? 60,000 miles in 2 years. Well, some emails then. Hello to Suko. Bless me, Suko, if I have sinned. I've already spoken to you once before. Suko writes about me being Scrooge, because I was talking about the Christmas cards, which I do occasionally. I know I do it a couple of times over the year, and I said I just think it's a complete and utter waste of people's money. Okay, send maybe a couple of cards to very special people, but to me it's just such an awful waste of money sending out card after card and the laborious task of writing the things out. Now, I know some people now who have set up a database on their computer, and at Christmas time, they just push a button and it prints out a load of labels and you just stick them on and send them off. I mean, what's the point? There's just no personality in that, is there? You might as well not do it. If all you're going to do, it's kind of like getting one of those letters from a company and they write your name at the top and the rest of the letter is the same that they send to anyone. It's just totally impersonal. To me, getting a Christmas card with things printed on labels, maybe a quick signature at the bottom, is there any thought in that involved at all? Or do you just feel that you need to go through the motions? You just put in a load of money in the pockets of the card manufacturers, and I think it's just a total and utter waste of money. Although, as I said before, my mum used to spend hours right now. She would start in September. Honestly, my mum would start in September writing out her Christmas cards. As she liked to do that. I mean, who am I to criticise people that do it? To me, I don't do it. I do send a few select people little cards. Is one of them going to be you? Suko writes, you Scrooge. Some of us do enjoy getting and sending Christmas cards, you know. I love the photo cards of my friends' children. I put them under a clear tablecloth and leave them there for up to 2 months, Suko says. Yes, and I think you sent me a photograph of that around Christmas time, and it does look very good. Those picture cards photo cards you were talking about, Suko, we don't have those in the UK. I've never actually seen those. You sent me one, and it's here somewhere. Look, it's still here. Look, you'll be surprised, Suko. Let me just lean over. There it is, pinned on my wall. Oh, hang on. You know what's happened? Oh, I've stapled. Oh, there it is. Unfortunately, I've stapled it. I've just damaged the side of it, getting it off the wall. What a shame. But Suko sent me a little picture of Jade. Dressed in Chinese, I think, national costume there. She sent a picture of Jade, and that was at Christmas time. And you see, I do keep these things, Suko, and it's pinned up there on the wall. I'll have to put that up again. Did I? Oh, I haven't dropped the pin on the floor. Just a minute. I better find that before I step on it. That would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? 1 second. That's it. There it is. Pin that back up there. Yes, those kind of Christmas picture cards, that's a good idea, but I've never seen those here in the UK. They obviously are a very popular thing in the States, are they? A lot of people send those around, I would imagine. But very nice. Not seen those before, Suko. But I agree, yes, if you've got children or anything, what a lovely thing to be able to send someone a photograph of your children at Christmas. Of course, or a photo card. Of course, presumably, one doesn't have to have these made specially. If you've got photos of your children, or indeed your loved ones, or anyone like that, then you can just put them... Could you not just post the photograph and write down the address on the back of the photograph and put a stamp on it? I suppose that would work, wouldn't it? Anyone loved, either here or not here, you could just send them out like that. It'd be fantastic. And I wrote back to Suko, and I says, me, never a Scrooge. And she wrote, you're my favourite Scrooge in the world. Oh, thank you for that very much. Thank you for that. We love it. Now, also, things happening in Suko's life at the moment. Jade, her daughter, we just had the photograph there I had in my hand. She has won her category in a competition a couple of weeks ago and came second to a boy by only 0.5 points, half a point, to win the junior petite division. I wonder what that is. That must be something to do with dancing, is it? The junior petite division, but she did win another scholarship, and she loved the boy, who I must admit was adorable. He didn't have her skills, but he had the it factor. Oh, yes. Yeah. The it or the X factor. Quite often you do see this, I think. People, maybe even singers, who aren't perhaps particularly good singers, but they can sing in tune. There is a certain thing, no one can put their finger on it, and you either have it or you haven't. It's interesting, isn't it? I've seen many cabaret acts who, in my opinion, they can sing, perhaps they can dance, but they go on a stage and it's just not there. I call it stage presence. There are other people, and there's one I've worked with for a number of years, who is I would say a slightly better than average singer, certainly not a pop star, but she absolutely has stage presence. And whenever she does a show, you can practically guarantee that anyone coming to see it we'll have a good time. It's some sort of thing that people seem to have and other people don't. As I say, there are people who can sing. There are definitely people I've seen who can sing, and they come on the stage and they do a few numbers, but it just doesn't work because that special something is missing. Jade seems to have it, doesn't she? Eh? As you say, he didn't have her skills, but he had the it factor. She has another one, another competition this coming weekend, and then one in May. Just praying I can make them all. Thank you, Suko. Yes, I do hope that. I do hope things are well with you, Suko. All right, my darling. Now, hello to Wayne. It's our friend Wayne Anonymous, who says, hello, Chris. Hello, Wayne. You were talking about the difference in diesel and petrol or gasoline prices. Here in the States, diesel fuel is getting a lot more expensive than gas, i.e. petrol in this country. Now, you see, Wayne is writing this letter because I too have noticed in the last couple of months the gap between unleaded petrol here in the UK, which in the US would be gas, and diesel is getting bigger and bigger. And I don't know why this is. As far as I know, there is no more tax on diesel than there is on petrol. Or at least it hasn't changed from what it was, that as far as I know. And yet, just a couple of years ago, the price of diesel and the price of petrol was exactly the same. Then, slowly, diesel started getting ever so slightly more expensive, maybe 1 or 2 pence a litre. Now, recently, I've seen examples of diesel, in particular on the way down to Brighton, where I work on a Friday, and the difference can be 10, 12, 13 pence a litre difference. That's a lot of money. And I can't quite work out what's going on there and why that's happening. I did speak to the man in the BP garage in Brighton about that last Friday. I said, why is the gap suddenly become so big? And he says there was a big fire in some sort of oil storage depot, and that's why. I can't work out why that is. The BP garage in Brighton. I don't actually buy, very, very rarely buy diesel from BP because I find by far them and, who's the other one, Texaco, are by far the dearest. I mean, by a lot. The cheapest petrol here in the UK seems to be Shell and Esso. Don't know why. Don't know why there's always such a difference. And sometimes the difference is quite large. It's not just a penny or two, which is strange. Wayne says, in upstate New York, diesel is 90 cents per gallon more than gasoline or petrol. Now that is a huge difference. Now, I'm not talking that sort of difference here, but nevertheless, that's a huge difference, and I'm wondering, why is this? He says, local gasoline prices show $3.33 a gallon, and diesel is $4.23 a gallon. It's a lot, isn't it? I found that regular gasoline in your part of the UK is 106 pence per litre, and diesel is 115 pence per litre. Yeah, that's right. So you see, you've seen it as well now. If our gas and diesel prices were based on the same formula you were paying in the UK, US prices would be $4.23 per gallon of regular gas, and diesel would be $5.15 per US gallon. Given the currency exchange rate, we're getting confused here with the numbers, I think now. Or I am anyway. A US tourist would be paying $8.26 per gallon of regular gas in the UK. Diesel fuel for the US visitor would be $10.30 per US gallon. Now, newspaper reports blame the 5 pence rise in diesel prices in just the last month on increased demand and a 2.5 pence increase in diesel taxes. So there we are. You see, everyone's been switching to diesel cars. certainly a lot of people here in the UK. I don't know about the rest of Europe. I know diesel fuel is not popular in regular US cars. I do know that. And he says, time for you... I've got ever such an itchy nose suddenly. Time for you to buy a Vespa scooter with a sidecar for carrying groceries and DJ equipment. You could be right. Bye for now, Wayne. So that's interesting. You see, the increased demand has pushed up the prices. You can't win, can you? As you know, I think I mentioned a couple of times, I am looking, at the moment I have a Toyota Aygo. I am looking at the end of the year, hopefully, in buying the new Toyota car, which is even slightly smaller than the Aygo, and I'm hoping to get even more economy out of that. Because the biggest thing for me buying a car is economy. That's what I want to see out of a car, economy. Now, how are we doing for time? We're nearly out of time today, actually, aren't we? Let's see. I've got an email here from our Gemma in Spain, which I'll read on the next show. And also a couple of bits and pieces I've pulled out of the forums recently. Where have all the forum members gone? Because you've all gone a little bit quiet recently, and Wayne did write a little article there as well, which I haven't got time to read that on this show, but I will read it on the next show. And also... TV programmes. What were your favourite TV programmes? And some people, going back a couple of months actually, I've kind of had a little look on the forums there and pulled out some bits and pieces which we'll look at on the next show. Okay, just wondering, Catalin, are you still with us? Catalin, our little violinist. If you are, I do hope you're well, my love. I haven't heard from you for a long time. Hope you're well, you and your family and that, all right? And you're keeping up those violin lessons. And nearly time for me to go today. All right, as always, thank you for joining me on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. I shall be with you in another couple of days. Do join in on the email, United Kingdom Talk, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and links to the forums and the main United Kingdom Talk website is unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, www.unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.